Hey guys, Mr. Gardner again. This time coming at you with another mini lesson about graphing. Graphing, this time we're going to be talking about doing it on a coordinate plane. And so first thing, let's just review what a coordinate plane is. So you can see here, a coordinate plane is basically just a horizontal number line with a vertical number line laid over the top of it. And in this case, we always call our horizontal line our x-axis, and we call our vertical line our y-axis. And it can be labeled the same way as you would a number line. You can take like each little tick mark and just give them a value. You can decide on your own scale, but make sure when you're doing your scale that it stays consistent. So if I'm going by ones, I want to always go by ones. If I'm going by tens, I want to always go by tens. If I'm going by 20s, and so on and so forth. The other thing we got to remember is if we're going left or if we're going down on the number line from 0, then we're getting into the negatives. As you can see, I'm labeling those negatives in here right now. And the reason we want to use this is, one, we can graph points from tables, so we can see trends. We can also graph solutions to problems, so that we can see all the different answers there might be without having to input every value. We can just kind of look at how the line is connecting and mark those points. So there's a lot of really cool reasons for making graphs and using them in math. The other thing we want to just remember here while we're reviewing is that this is quadrant 1, this is quadrant 2, this is quadrant 3, this is quadrant 4. And in this one, we have coordinate pairs, which we'll talk about in just a minute, of positive, positive. Back here, we have negative, positive. Here we have negative, negative. And here we have positive, negative. Now, in a coordinate plane, because we are talking about x and y values, coordinate points are always done as pairs. So they always are parentheses, x value, y value. So that's always how they're going to look, and we call them pairs, so a pair of values. And these are going to tell us where we want to place the points on our graph. So it's really important to know these. So again, if they're both positive, x and y are both positive, then you're going to be in quadrant 1. If x is negative, y is positive, you're going to be in quadrant 2. If they're both negative, you're going to be in quadrant 3. And if your x is positive but your y is negative, then that's going to put you into quadrant 4. So it's an easy way to see if you're putting them in the right place just by looking at the signs, going, oh, whoops, that has a negative. It probably shouldn't be where the two positives are, and so on. So that's really important. And again, x value tells us horizontal distance from 0, and the y value tells us our vertical distance from 0, either up or down. So that's a quick review on the coordinate plane. Let's just erase some of this. All right, and the next thing we want to talk about is just how we would place values onto a coordinate plane system. Let's just switch up the colors here. I'm going to go with this one. This looks nice. So let's just put a coordinate pair down. Let's say we have 2, 3. All right, again, we got to remember that coordinate pairs are always x, y. Okay, so the 2 goes with our x and the 3 goes with our y. And one nice way I like to think about this is like whenever we're putting points down, it's like think about the horizontal as the lobby of a building and think of the y value as the elevator. So this is going to tell us once we go into the building at 0, 0 right here, it's going to tell us which way we go to find the elevator. So this says positive 2. So I know my positive's over here, so I'm going to go over to 2 horizontally. Okay, I don't have to mark anything. I just want to keep my place. And then my y value right here tells me that I'm taking this elevator up 3 because it's positive. So that goes 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to place a dot right here. And I'm going to label my point 2, 3. And that's going to be that point there. Let's just take a look at what it would look like for a different point. So let's just change the color. So do some coordination here. So let's say we had the point -5, -2. Now again, look at our xy points. We both have negatives, so we know we have to be down here in this quadrant because negative and negative is this quadrant. And again, the x value tells us where we're going horizontally. The y value tells us whether we're going up or down. This one's negative, so we are going Yeah, you got it. We're going down. So now I'm starting at 0. I know I have to go over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to go down the elevator 1, 2 spots, and I'm going to put a dot right there. And I'll label it -5, -2. So that's basically how you would graph points when you're just given a coordinate pair, say this one or this one, and just ask you to place them on the graph. Use your x-axis for your horizontal distance and your y-axis for your up and down. Lobby, elevator. Makes it really nice for when you're having to graph points. Now let's look at a table. Say there's a table and we have to graph what's in the table. So let's make a table real quick. Alright, change our color up here. Now let's say we have a table of values. Let's say we're given x and y. Obviously these can be different things because this is our independent variable. This is the one we're going to play with and manipulate, and then whatever we do here is going to give us this value. So you can think of different things. Could be miles and hours, things like that, that we could be using. But in this case, let's just say we're using x and y just for these variables. And let's say we have the equation y equals 2x. Okay, so again, this value depends on what values we put in for x. So when we're looking at something like this, we can just decide on some values. Now I'm just going to always want to start with 0 because it's just a really easy value to input. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Now normally what you want to do is you want to graph a line when you have an equation. Alright, and so for a line you really only need 2 points. I'm going to do 4 just so we have a little extra practice. So the first one is, what is y's value when x equals 0? So that gives me y equals 2 times 0. Now I put that 0 in because I decided I'm going to make x 0. When x is 0, y is also 0. 2 times 0 is 0. Now I'm going to see what it is for 1. So y equals 2 times 1. So y equals 2 when x equals 1. So I'm going to put a 2 there. And let's try it now for x equals 2. Y equals 2 times 2. That means y equals 4 when x equals 2. And let's take a look at what happens with 3. So now we have 2 times 3. We know that 2 times 3 is 6, so y equals 6. And that's really nice. And you can see here we also, going up 1, it goes up 2 each time. So we know we have a little bit of a pattern here. Again, in our chart, x is the first value, y is the second one. These become the pairs like this. So now we can think of this third column as like an x, y pair column. So this point would be 0, 0. This point here would be 1, 2. This point here would be 2, 4. This point here would be 3, 6. So that's really nice. Now I'm going to graph the first one, 0, 0. Well, that tells us we're going to be at the very middle of the lobby, and we're not taking the elevator anywhere. So there's that point, 0, 0. This point is 1, 2. 1 is positive, so we're going to go right 1. And then it says positive 2, so we're going to go up 2 on the elevator. So that's going to put that point there, 1, 2. Now we're going to go over to 2, 4. So we're going 2 to the lobby, and we're going up 4. All right. And again, let's go to the last point here. We have 3, 6. So we'll go over to part 3. 1, 2, 3 over to the right because it's positive, and we're going to go up to 6 because it's also positive. So again, now I could graph this line. I can connect these dots like so, and if I do a straight enough line, it should go through there, and it should go through up there, and coming this way, it should go through this point here, and this point here, and so on. And so you can see again, like I don't even have to, if I do this line straight from the points I've graphed, I don't even have to do any solving. I can see, okay, let's look on the line. If x is -1, then y is -2 because that point's on the line. X is -2, y is -4 because that point's on my line, and so on. So that gives us a reason why graphing it can be a very useful tool. Then we can just check to see, let's see, y equals 2 times -1. We know that a positive times a negative is a negative, so that means y equals -2. -1, -2. Where does our graph point right here? -1, -2. So it just goes to show you that graphing can be very helpful when we're looking for solutions, so we don't have to do every single point. The line's going to go through all the points that are solutions. So that makes graphing really nice for us there.